Okay guys, I thought in this session what I would show you how to do is how to make cyanotypes. And you have to use a special solution, and this is what it looks like. It's called Cyanotype solution. It's in two parts, part A and part B. And I got it off of Dick Blick, but I think you can also get it off of Amazon and at the other art and craft stores. So I'm going to take this out of the container now, off this box. And I have an incandescent light right on top of my table here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Okay, I'm going to have to show this to you later because I'm going to, it's just powder in here. And what you have to do is you fill the jars up with water and let it sit for a few hours. So that's what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, I have some here. I have 2 jars here that are just about empty. There's a little bit in there. But I'm going to fill these up with water afterwards. And what you do is it's 50-50. So it's 50% one and 50% the other. And since it's almost empty, I'm just going to use this. There's a little bit left in here. Put that in. Put the rest of this in. So that's the solution that you use right here. I'm going to go rinse out my brush. And you just brush it on. It doesn't have to be even. It can be in any way you want it. And I have it laying on a piece of old mat board so I can transport. I have a room down here in my studio that has no windows. So what I do is I put my wet papers in there to dry. So you have to use 1 part A and 1 part B. They have to be equal parts. Mix that together and then just brush it on whatever paper you're going to be using. This paper that I am using is watercolor paper. It's the real cheap watercolor paper from Strathmore. You can get these at any of the craft stores, and it's cheap paper. And the reason why you want to use watercolor paper is because you're going to be using a lot of water. Then after your cyanotypes are when you bring them in from the sun, they get water baths. So you need to use a paper that will take water. Okay, now this one's ready, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to sprinkle some salt on it, just here and there. And then I'm going to put it in the room where there's no light. Now, I have enough of solution to do one more. And this is what's known as tea bag paper. I get it from Jane Monolith. I'm not sure how to spell her last name. I will put that in a reference. And I got it, she sells it on Amazon. Or you can go to her website and buy it. It's like tissue paper, but it's really, 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 really strong. It just comes in a roll like this, and you just cut off, excuse me, the amount that you want. My cold is still with me. So I'm just cutting a piece off. And I'm going to brush this on. I'm just going to pour it on. And if you have more in one area, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to pour it all on. Let it dry. And then we'll be using these papers to make cyanotypes. And what you could do, if you wanted, is that you could put a piece of plastic wrap on top of that, and you would have wavy spots. But I'm going to put just a little bit of salt in this, not much. And then I'm going to put this in my dark room. So I'll see you later, guys. Okay, I just went out in the yard and I gathered some leaves and things. This is a weed out of the woods behind us. That's what this is. This is a weed from the woods. This, I don't know if you can see this. This is the same thing as this. These are weeds from the woods. This is a piece of honeysuckle from the woods. Then I have some bushes out front. That's what this is from. I have some lavender. I have a bunch of lavender. And this is a hummingbird bush that I have. And I have several of those. Here's another piece from the woods. More lavender, more hummingbird. And these are just from evergreen bushes that I have out front. More lavender. And this is a piece of some kind of bush that I have out front. Don't know what it is. More of this. More of that. More of this. So these are the things that I have to work with. I really like this, just for the stick effect. Lavender, lavender, lavender. These. Okay, you want to get yourself something solid. This is a piece of thick foam core. And what you want to do is put paper towel down first. And then my pieces are now dry. Here is the Strathmore watercolor paper. So that's what this is. And I'm going to do it this way. And I just laid that on top of the paper towel. And so this is completely dry now. And I had salt on it, and I did scrape away the salt. This is what the salt does when you sprinkle salt on it. And now I'm just going to wet it with water. Good and wet. And then I'm going to lay down something. I think I'm going to lay down this. And I like to cut off any excess that I have. And then here's this. I think I'm going to have this like right here. So I'm going to have to cut some of this off. Just going to lay it down like so. I'm going to take a piece of lavender. Maybe I'll take a piece of this, lay it here. And I'm going to stick a piece of lavender in it. Maybe a small piece of lavender right here. And this is going to lay on top of that. This will go flat. This will go flat. Maybe I'll take one. I'm going to take one of these off. I'm going to take this one off. Then I'm going to put a small leaf here. The reason why I took those off is I want an impression of that blossom. So I just stuck that leaf there. Now what I'm going to do is I have a spray bottle of white vinegar. You can use red vinegar, you can use red wine vinegar, you can use cider vinegar. You're going to get a different effect from everything. So I'm just going to spray it here and there with the vinegar. And then I have, this is turmeric. And I put a little bit in some water. And just splatter some of it on. And then I have, where's that? I have hydrogen peroxide and vinegar. No special formula. I just poured some vinegar in it and poured some, it's probably about half and half. And I'm just going to sprinkle that on. If I see anything starting to dry out, I will spray it with water. Now I'm going to take some plastic wrap. You can use regular plastic wrap or the cling wrap. I find that the cling works better for me. I don't have to fight it as much. I got this one from the dollar store actually. And I pull out enough to cover my entire piece. And I want this blossom to show. I'm just getting over a cold. And you can spread this cling wrap out as best as you can over your leaves. Okay, I'm fairly happy with this. Now I'm going to take a piece of glass, and this is glass over from a picture frame. And I'm going to press it down over it. If I see anything that needs to be corrected, this blossom does not want to show. I think I'm going to take a little leaf here and stick it right there. It doesn't have to be underneath. Okay. Now, I have 4 clamps. You can use whatever clamps you have, and I am going to clamp this down. I want to make sure that the glass is clamped down, and I need another one here. And I'm going to put one up here. And then I'm going to put it in the sun. And you want to put it in the sun for about anywhere from 2 to 4 to 5 hours. You can actually keep it, you know, out in the yard for a day if you want to. But I usually keep mine out for at least 3 hours. 3 to 4 hours, I'll bring it inside. I'm going to put it out in the sun. Bright sun. Now, the next one I'm going to do is on the tea bag paper. And that's this. And it's real thin. Doesn't matter which side because both sides are the same. Because it really soaks up the stuff. Now, I'm going to spray it with water. Get it good and wet. And then I'm going to add stuff to it. Don't think I'm going to put as much on this one. I like this weed because it curves around. This is something different as well. This is honeysuckle. Let's put one of these things on. And I'm going to put this woody thing down. That'll give me some interesting line work, I think. Stick a leaf in here. It's too big. Let's put a piece of lavender in it. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is spray it with water again. The tea bag paper soaks up the water really, really fast. I'm going to spray it with some vinegar. I'm going to get some wrapping, some cling wrap. Now you do not have to put the plastic wrap down. I put it down because I like what it does to the paper. It kind of gives it a mottled effect. I suggest you try it both ways to see what you like. And already this is a mess. I think I'm going to do it 2 small pieces sideways. Crap. I think I'll lay it this way. How do I want to lay this? This way. This I want to be more centered in there. get a piece of glass and some plants. I have my clams out on the back porch in a basket. And you can see my glass is dirty. I don't worry about that. And I'm just going to lay that on top. Now I don't have anything clamps long enough for this. So I think what I'm going to do hold it down with this. Better than nothing. Now this isn't down nearly as good as the other one was. We'll see what happens. I need something right there. One right here, I think. It's not clamped down like I like it, but let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to put that in the sun. And I have enough, I think, to do one more. Okay, I'm going to use this. Get a couple paper towels. Here's a paper towel that I had from the other day. It was underneath a piece of tea bag paper. Look at that gorgeous imprint on the paper towel. And these here, I had a skin doctor appointment, and they had these pretty yellow flowers out front. So I took a couple pieces home, and look at that gorgeous yellow that transferred. And this that you see here is this. So isn't that pretty? And I thought to myself, I'm not going to throw that away. When you use a tea bag paper, you get, let's say if I put tissue paper underneath that, that's a good idea. Next time I'm going to do that. I'm going to put tissue paper under it, and then I'll be able to use it. Okay, now I'm going to lay this here. I'm going to spray it with water. And that last one, I did not put any of the vinegar and hydrogen peroxide on. Experiment with different things. Now, what do I have left over here? I have one little blossom left. This is it. Oh, here's a small one. We'll use this. And we'll use some lavender. Is that the only piece of lavender I have? I think so. I have this. Let's throw in some of this just to see what we have. And I think I'm going to put a small piece over here just to balance that out, like right here. And here's a stick of some kind. I'm going to put that there. Now, with this one, here's another one of these pieces. Oh, here, let me try this. This is pretty, isn't it? Let's put this down first. And then we'll put this down. This will go here. This will go over here. Don't want to make it too busy. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, this one we're not going to put any wrap on it, saran wrap, but this one I'm going to put some of this turmeric. So I'm not going to put saran wrap on this just for the sake of not doing it. I'm just going to lay a piece of glass on it. And this glass is just out of picture frames, cheap picture frame. You can see how dirty this one is. I don't care, because that'll just give me more texture like. So I'm just going to lay it on it like that. Make sure everything's flat. And I'm not going to put any of the, well, let's put a little bit of this hydrogen peroxide and vinegar on it. We'll just I'll splash some with my hands. We'll see what happens. Now, just so you know, where my clamp is over top of this paper, it's gonna come out white. It'll be real light. But most of the times I cut them down anyway, so I don't worry about that too much. Did I have another clamp over here? Yes, right here's another one. So we did not put any plastic wrap on this, and we'll see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to lay this one in the sun. So that's 3 that we've done all together. This one has hydrogen peroxide. I don't think I sprayed any vinegar on this. I don't remember. It's hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, and we put some turmeric on it and lots of water. So we'll see what happens. And you know what? I'm thinking to myself, I want to spray a little bit of white vinegar in this because it's just not quite wet enough. I like it to be real wet. I'm just going to lift this way. And I'm going to spray it with a little bit more water. Now I'm going to clamp it down. Okay, now this one's going in the sun. So I'll be back, guys. Okay, this is the first one I'm bringing in, and I took the clamps off outside. And I'm going to take the glass off and the plastic wrap. Then all the rest of the stuff comes off. Ooh, I think we're going to have something nice. Look at that. Woo! I think that could have been out just a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do now with this is I have a jug of water right here. So I'm going to bring this over and we're going to put it in water. And we have to agitate the water. Now, all of this is that the turmeric. So I'm gonna rub the excess off. I don't know if you can see that or not, but isn't that gorgeous? So what you want to do, it should be in the water for at least 10 minutes, and you have to agitate the water. And that gets any of the excess solution off the paper, and it stops the exposure. you really want to agitate it. And that water going over the top takes the excess off. And you'll see your water getting dirty. So when it gets too dirty, I'm going to have to take this paper out and get fresh water. But it's starting to turn kind of greenish. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. And the longer you keep it in water, the lighter it will get. And your background pattern, I don't know if you can see this pattern right in here. Can you see that beautiful pattern that's coming up? That's from the plastic wrap. You just keep agitating. The water's starting to get really dirty now. But you want to keep it a minimum of 10 minutes. So you always want to check your watch and make sure that you have it in 10 minutes. And remember when I said that wherever you have your clamps, you're going to see where you had your clamps. So you could see I had a clamp there, and I had a clamp over here. Down at the bottom, you can see I had a clamp here, and you see the white, and the other clamp was right there. So you can definitely see where those clamps were, and you want to use a good heavy weight watercolor paper to be able to take this water bath. That's what happened with some of those that I showed you earlier that had torn. Okay, I'm going to put this back in here, and then I brought some water in something that's easier to carry. Now we're going to agitate this. Go back and forth like this. The patterns are really coming out. They're showing a lot more. And then you can agitate it like this. And you can rub areas. Let's say an area is too dark. If you just put a little bit of friction on it, you can lift up some of that. See, now this area right here got a little bit lighter. That got lighter. I think we're getting close to 10 minutes. And then what you do is that you hang it up. I have a little bit of a wire contraption above my laundry tub, my laundry sink, and I hang them up with clothespins above the laundry tub. And then they drip dry. Lay it down this way. I don't know if you can see the water starting to change again. It's starting to get dirty again. And I think instead of taking my water back to the laundry tub, I'm just going to pour it back into that smaller white tub and put it outside. But the water's turning a very, very light green. gorgeous. Ah. Now you can just frame them with a mat around them. Now this blue here is starting to turn purple. You probably can't see that on the camera. But this is definitely, these blues in these leaves are definitely getting lighter. And these are turning purple. You can put two of them in at the same time. What I do is I just put them back to back, but I want them to stay out just a little bit longer. That's why I didn't bring any more in, because I think this one I could have left out for another 40-45 minutes. And it just depends on how thickly you have your cyanotype solution on it as to how blue it gets. If you have it on real thick, your paper will turn very, very dark blue. Like that one I showed you that was really dark. Have some nice contrast going on here. Now I'm going to take this out of the water. Hopefully you'll be able to see the design. I'll lay it here. Can you see that background? This background over here. And these blue leaves are now a little bit lighter than what they were, and this one is turning purple. I don't know if you can see that, but the green comes basically from the vinegar and the hydrogen peroxide, and then the brownish yellow comes from the turmeric. But I like putting the plastic down because it gives you a nice abstract background. So I'm going to go hang this one up, and the ones that are out there now, I'm going to let them out for another 15-20 minutes, so I'll be back in a little while. Okay, I thought I'd show you some of the cyanotypes that I've already done. This one is on tea bag paper, and it's almost translucent. I don't know if you can see the purple in here that came up. The yellow that you see is from the turmeric, and the splashes are the hydrogen peroxide. So I don't know if you can see that. I think this one is absolutely gorgeous. This one is on drawing paper, and I'm not going to use that again because the paper was too thin. And so when I was giving it its bath, it started to tear. It has a hole in it here, but there's pieces of it that I might be able to use for collage. And with this, I just simply laid down circles that I had cut out of Yupo and laid that down, and then I put wax saran wrap on top of it. So that's one. And here is a leaf from a tree. Again, it has a hole in it. Can you see the hole? And there's a tear in it right here, simply because the paper wasn't strong enough to take the water bath. But I'll still be able to use parts of it. I love the background. Here's one that was just on this is a paper towel that was under one of the tea bags. Look at that. This is one of my favorite ones. This is on that Strathmore watercolor paper. Can you see? The different colors? There's purple in it, and there's the yellow in it. This is nice. Here's another leaf that had holes in it. And here, I don't know if you can see my wax paper design that I laid wax paper down on top of it. You can see that design, which I really like. Here's another paper towel. Look at this gorgeous piece. Can you see the purple in that? And the wax paper design is very, very faint, but it is there. Here's your blossoms. I think that one's beautiful too. Look at this one. Gorgeous. Here's lavender. And this is off of my evergreen. And I put some leaves into it. I think this one is gorgeous too. Every one of them are special. Look at this one. And look at these nice abstract markings on it. And that's, again, from the turmeric that I laid down. You never know what you're going to get. Look at this. Look at this baby. I think it's gorgeous. Every one of them. And here's one that I did the other day. It's almost too yellow for me. But you can see the background of the saran wrap. And these white spots that you see here and there, those are coming off of the blossom. Some came loose and was laying on it. This one is different. This is on tea bag paper. And what I did was I got a bunch of spaghetti noodles, some dried spaghetti noodles, and broke them up in different sizes and just laid it on. And then put wax paper on top just for an abstract design. It has some green in it, some purple in it, some blue in it. Look at this. Look at this. This is on tea bag paper again. This has a lot of purple in it. What's nice about the tea bag paper is that if you had encaustic, and I'm going to show you that, and an encaustic cradle panel that's got medium on it, you can just lay this on top of the medium, and the medium will come up through the paper. And it will look like it's embedded in. I am gonna show you how to do that, but I think this is beautiful. Here's another abstract design that I did. And I just cut circles and laid it on. Circles out of Yupo, laid it on. And then I put, these are toothpicks. And here's a washer, there's a washer, there's a washer. So, and the washers had rust on them, so that's why you see some brown in there. The rust came off. This, I think, is my favorite. It's very, very dark, but hopefully you can see how purple it is. And this were those, was these things right here. These things, out of the woods. Here's another one that's, you can see probably a little bit better. That's what those were. Gorgeous. Here's another tea bag piece. And like I say, it's like tissue paper. It's very, very translucent. That's why I think I'm going to put some white encaustic on a board, cradled board, and then lay this on top of it. Isn't that gorgeous? It's got purple, green, blue, yellow. Here's another one. That's that weed again that I just showed you, and this is off of one of my bushes out front. And this thing here is a piece of this. So, you know, dried sticks make beautiful pieces. So there's that piece. And then here's the last piece that I have to show you. But I don't know if you can see this background. Look at the background. Look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, And the 2 pieces that I just put on Facebook not too long ago had a big piece like this, and it was this paper. And I cut it up and did 2 small pieces out of it. So those are the cyanotypes that I have that are waiting to be worked. Plus I have 4 now out in the yard. So I'm going to be bringing out the first one in about 10 minutes. So I'll see you in just a little bit. This is that piece hanging up. You can see it's one of those things, and I have it hanging above my laundry tub. And they will just simply drip dry. But you can see that background. And that comes from the plastic wrap. And it will drip dry, and then I'll take it down tomorrow, and I'll put it in my pile of these cyanotypes. And I keep them in, the ones that are done, I keep in a drawer, and the ones that haven't been exposed yet, that haven't been in the sun, I keep in a pizza box in my dark room. Okay, I just brought this one in. This is the one we taped down because it was too far away from the edge for my plants to go. Let's see what we have. It's always interesting because you never know what you're going to get. Some of them I've liked, and some of them I did not like. This had the saran wrap on it. And this is on the tea bag paper. Look at my paper towel. This is the paper itself. I'm going to lay it in here. See, this looks better to me right now than this. But there it is in water. But isn't this gorgeous? I'll save this, and I'll use this as a collage, and I'll use archival glue. Oh, it's tearing. Let me spray it with some water. Sticking. There we go. I'm going to go lay this somewhere. You can see this is just like tissue paper. That's how strong this paper is. Very, very strong. It's tea bag paper. It's what they make tea bags out of. The paper that tea bags is out of. It's very strong. It's made to withhold, to stay strong in water. And this is going to be very, very soft. Agitate it. Since there's not as much color on this, I didn't have a lot of that solution on this. I'm not going to let it in for 10 minutes. I think the water is not getting any dirtier than what it was. So I'm just going to agitate it like this for maybe another minute, and then I'm going to hang it up to dry. This tea bag paper is really nice to use like you would use tissue paper, but it's so much stronger. And I will give you a link to the tea bag paper in the email that I send out. Okay, I think this is good. Now I'm going to let this drip a second, and then I'm going to hang it up over with the other one. This is what it looks like. See, you can see through it. You can see the tape from the table. It's
okay, guys, here's
the next one.
So I'm going to go hang.
And this one, if you remember, we did not put saran wrap on top of. Look at this. Wow. I really like what these things do. That's what this is right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm gonna save that baby. And this mark here is because it was dirty and I didn't clean my glass off. So this did not have any saran wrap on it. So it doesn't have the abstract edges background like the other ones have. But it is still absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I don't know what these two little things are here. See that? You never know. Now this one was in the sun longer than the other two. You can see there's more detail, and it's darker. The background is darker. Look at that. And you can see that the water is immediately starting to get dirty. Can you see that? See how green and blue it's getting? It's lightening up right away. Do you remember how dark these two things were right here? Not now. I love what the turmeric does. Like this down in here, this yellow. Down and through here, can you see that? Oh, this is gorgeous. You can see how dirty this water's getting. Now the water's getting pretty dirty. I think I'm gonna go dump the water. And I shall return. Now that water was really, really dirty. God, that's gorgeous. Ah! That's nature's painting. You couldn't paint that if you tried. I really like these things. All of the brown and the yellow is from the turmeric. see that. Whew, it is gorgeous. That background is still gorgeous, even though I didn't have plastic wrap on it. And I have one more out there. That was that one that I did last. And it's only been out there for about 2 hours. And I'm going to leave it out for another hour yet, I think. Half hour to an hour. I think this is the best one so far. And I thought the other two were gorgeous. These are God's paintings. I don't know if you noticed, when I first started, these two leaves here were real dark. Now they're starting to turn more white. You know, if you don't have access to weeds out in the woods or flowers from your yard, you could always use go to a craft store and get plastic flowers. And what I do when I get plastic flowers, I'll usually set them on the table and put something heavy on them a little bit, just to flatten them down, such as eucalyptus. You can get some eucalyptus. Dried eucalyptus at the craft store. They make nice cyanotype prints. This right here, I don't know if you can see that or not, that almost looks like a bird. And it's been almost 10 minutes. So I'm going to take this out soon. But then I like to do it this way too, so the water goes over the pieces in a different way. I don't know what this was right here. This would be beautiful, just framed and matted. Double matted, it would be gorgeous. And then what I would do is either you could paint it, what I do to finish them off, if I'm not going to put encaustic over them or resin, I will put varnish on them, either matte varnish or gloss varnish. Or matte medium or gloss. Okay, I'm going to hang this baby up now. Let it drip a little bit. I know it has glare on it from being wet. Maybe you can see it there under the light. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, Lord. It's addictive. I'm going to go hang this other one up, and I have one more in the yard yet, and I'm going to leave that out for at least another half hour. So I'll be back. Okay, I am back. This I just brought in from the from the room that has the no windows in it. It's not quite dry. This is the one that we just finished, or that we did earlier today, and it's not quite dry, but I'm going to use it anyway because I just came back from the dentist. I picked some flowers and I want to use them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some water on this, make it wetter. You don't have to let it dry, but I like to have stuff ready to go. So I just wanted to mention that to you. And I am going to put this down like so. I got these pretty flowers. I'm going to put them face down so I get a nice impression. I thought I had two. Here's the other one. They're dying already. I don't know what half of this stuff is, but I wanted to. This is a petunia here. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. If it doesn't, that's okay too, because I'm trying new things. Put some of this down for greenery. Okay, that's that. And these flowers are going to end up like that. I'm going to spray it with a little bit more water. I'm going to spray it with some vinegar. I'm going to throw some hydrogen peroxide and some vinegar on it. A little bit more water here and there where it's drying out already. And where is my, and here's a little bit left of the turmeric. Spray some water into it, get all of that out. Okay. And let's do a lavender. Do it down here. Here's my cling wrap. The plastic wrap. Bit more water. And that was the tea bag paper, by the way. And this is real thick glass. I purchased at the glass shop, local glass shop. And put it in this, and I'm going to take the other ones out probably in about a half hour because they've been out there about 3 hours. I want to bring those in very soon. Now, I wanted to mention to you, I don't think I went into it enough, about when you're making your papers with the cyanotype solution. Again, you want to do it at night or under an incandescent light, or in a room where you can close the blinds and just turn the inside lights on so that there's no outside light shining in. Because if there's outside light shining in, the solution will start exposing right away. So you want to make sure that it's you're in a dark area or in an area where it's no light is from the outside is showing. And then what I do is, after they're dry, and I put them in a room that has no window, And then after it's dry, I have a pizza box that I store them in that dark room in the box so no light gets to them. So I'm going to take this outside now. Okay, here's the last one. And I took the clamps off out in the yard. This is the last one that I did with flowers from elsewhere. This one didn't do anything. Didn't do much of anything. This just gave me a little bit, not much. And this is on tea bag paper. Look at the paper towel. I like all the brown that's on here, which is the turmeric. Can you see how the water is changing? That's the solution coming off. Look at the green. I'm going to save that. You see how dirty the water has gotten? I am going to get some more water and I'll dump this later. I'll be right back. And I have a smaller tub because this paper isn't that big. Look how dirty that water is. Now most of the color has already come off over on this pile. So this water might not get as dirty, but it's still a pretty, look at that print that we have. It's starting to turn a little blue. Oh yes, it's turning blue. I don't know if you can see the water turning blue or not. Agitation. This is the tea bag paper and it's so strong with water. You can see the water turning now. And this was probably only out for about 2 hours. I brought it in because the sun is going down and it's not very strong at all out there. So I figured I may as well just bring it in and see what we have. But you can keep them out overnight if you want. I mean, there's no time period, but this is a nice print. The water's very blue now. And it almost becomes transparent. When I said that those things didn't show up, there's those leaves right there, which, remember I said it's not very dark? There it is, because it was so dark that it didn't show up. But now that it's been rinsed, all of the detail is coming out. I didn't like it at first, but I'm starting to like it now. I think I'll just agitate it a little bit yet, and then take it out. The paper folds up on itself in this water. It's funny. I had a paper towel underneath this, and the design of the paper towel actually printed as well. And I don't know if you can see all those dots. That's when I took that hydrogen peroxide and vinegar and flung it like that off of my hands. That's what gave me those. Okay, I'm going to hang this one up, guys. And then they'll dry overnight. And then tomorrow morning, I'll give you a photo of one. And then we'll try to put one of these tea bags under encaustic. Unfold it so I can hang it up. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Okay, here's what they look like. They're all dried. And you can see these two are the tea bag, well, on the tea bag paper. You can see they're all wrinkled. But if you want them flat, all you have to do is iron them. Look at that. Now this one wasn't out in the sun that long. It was out the least amount. This one was out in the sun longer. Then here's the other two. And these, both of these are on the Strathmore. This one I didn't cut the edge off the top yet. As you can see, look at that background. I had saran wrap on it. Beautiful. And here's the other one. This one did not have saran wrap on it. And you can see that background is gorgeous as well. So that's what all four of them look like. I'm very pleased. And I am going to, with the tea bag paper, I'm going to put that over encaustic. And I will film that for you guys. I'm real pleased. Now these, you can either frame them, mat them and frame them, or what I do, what I've done in the past, I have matted them on cradle panel. And you could do it that way as well. But I did varnish them, so. They're not varnished yet, but my other ones that I've already completed, I varnished, so. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, there's Frankie.